Olá pessoal! Ever wondered why Brazilians use inho, inha a lot, as in beijinho, minutinho, favorzinho? Welcome back to Plain Portuguese, where you learn how to speak like Brazilian using diminutives. If you're new here, subscribe and catch up on the lessons you have missed. In today's lesson, you'll learn how and why to use inho, inha, zinho, zinha. I bet that once you get how it works, you'll start using diminutives just like native speakers do. Today's lesson is a bit longer than usual because this subject deserves more detailed examples. So I suggest you grab your notebook, a snack, and join me. First, you'll learn how the word transformation happens and only then the main use of the diminutive form. Yes? Well, any nouns, including proper nouns, in other words, names, so any nouns, adjectives and adverbs can have a diminutive form in which inho, inha or zinho, zinha is added to the end of the word. Yes? Let's start with inho, inha. Add inho, inha according to the gender of the word. When the word ends in one, only one unstressed, a, e, or o, as long as the stress of the word is on the second syllable to the last, as most words are in Portuguese. Well, I'll make it easier for you with examples, yeah? So here we have chuva. The correct pronunciation is chuva. Chuva, with the stress on the second syllable to the last, meaning that the final A is unstressed. Chuva. Chuva. Yeah? The next word. Quente. Quente. See? The stress is again on the second syllable to the last, meaning that the final E is unstressed. Vento. Vento. So again, the stress is on the second syllable to the last, meaning that the final O is, you said unstressed? Perfect. Well, do these words end in unstressed, A, E, or O? Yes, they do. Is the stress on the second syllable to the last? Yes, it is. Chuva, quente, vento. Well, so then drop the final vowel and add inho or inha according to the gender of the word. Oh, a side note. In some cases it will be needed to make some spelling adjustments, but this is not our focus today. Yeah? Well, going back to the rain. So, chuva is a feminine noun, becomes chuvinha. Yes, chuvinha. It's important to practice a lot this nha pronunciation. Chuvinha. Quente. Quente is an adjective. Yes, so it can become quentinho or quentinha, depending on the noun it's qualifying. Quentinho, quentinha. Vento. Vento is a masculine noun. It becomes ventinho. Ventinho. Yes, it's never too late to remind you that Portuguese loves exceptions. But we are not going to go through exceptions in today's lesson. Well, moving on. Besides words ending in one unstressed A, E, or O, you will add inho or inha to words ending in S or Z. First, ônibus. Yes, masculine noun becomes ônibusinho. Ônibusinho. Rapaz, another masculine noun. Just a coincidence here. Rapazinho. Rapazinho. Well, recapping. Nouns, adjectives, and adverbs ending in one and only one unstressed vowel, unstressed A, E, or O, as long as the stress is on the second syllable to the last, as most words are, and the ones ending in S or Z, add inho or inha according to the gender of the word. This is what you should memorize. Other than this, add zinho or zinha. Let me show a few examples. Words ending in stressed vowel. Café, café, becomes cafezinho, because it's a masculine noun. Cafezinho. Words ending in two vowels. Tio becomes tiozinho, tiozinho. Nasal sounds. Mãe, mãezinha, mãezinha. However, some places in Brazil, you will hear people saying mãinha. And this is so cute, mãinha. But the rule is mãezinha. But mãinha is very cute. Well, words ending in L. Legal, legalzinho, legalzinho. Trem, ending in M, or it's kind of a nasal sound here, huh? Trenzinho. Trenzinho with a little spelling change. Not our focus today, but there's a little spelling change. Ending in R, favor, favorzinho, favorzinho. Well, by the way, any written accents are dropped when we form the diminutive, because the stress of the word shifts. So, as you saw, café, cafezinho, there's no accent anymore. Ônibus, ônibusinho, no written accent anymore. But it doesn't happen with the tilde, yes. Mãe, mãezinha, mãezinha. Now that you already know how to form the diminutive, let's go for its main uses. Smallness. The first and foremost use of the diminutive is to express that an object is small, little. For example, here we have a dog, cachorro, but it's a little dog. Cachorrinho. Cachorrinho. Oh, what a cute little dog. Que cachorrinho fofo. Yeah, so it's a little dog. Que cachorrinho fofo. Why not making fofo sound cuter? So this is the second most common use of the diminutive, to express affection. Yes, to say that something is cuter. So, que cachorrinho fofinho. Que cachorrinho fofinho. And the baby. Que bebê bonito. Let's make it sound cuter. Que bebê bonitinho. Oh, but it's a baby. The small one. Que bebezinho bonitinho. Okay, you don't have to speak like this, yes. But if you want to. So again, que bebezinho bonitinho. Well, I want to talk to Sarah, a friend of mine. Is she home? A Sarah está em casa. Sarah is a friend of mine, yes? And she's okay if I show my affection by calling her Sarinha. Sarinha, we are friends, yeah? So, instead of a Sara está em casa, I can say a Sarinha está em casa. A Sarinha está em casa. A Sarinha saiu com o Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, is also a dear friend of mine. But he's almost 2 meters tall. So here, the diminutive is not about how tall he is. It's about the affection I have toward him. So again, a Sarinha saiu com o Ronaldinho. Specific meaning. Well, some words may mean a small object, as Caneta, canetinha. Carro, carrinho. But they also have a specific meaning other than the diminutive. Yes? Canetinha may be a small pen, but it's also a word for a felty pen. Canetinha. Carrinho. Carrinho may be a toy car, which is usually small, or if you go to a grocery store, you may take a basket or a carrinho, yes, a cart, to help you with the purchases. So, canetinha and carrinho, they may mean small object, yes, a small pen, a small car, but they also have a specific meaning. Canetinha being the felty pen, and carrinho can be a shopping cart, can also be a stroller, carrinho. Another interesting use is to express the desirable degree. It's like perfect, yes? As in, the soup is nice and warm. A sopa está quentinha. A sopa está quentinha. Oh, the shirt fits in exactly. A camisa cabe direitinho. Fits exactly. A camisa cabe direitinho. Only R$3? Oh, pão de queijo is dirt cheap. Pão de queijo é baratinho. Pão de queijo é baratinho. You can use the diminutive to temper the degree of unpleasant qualities. For example, a friend of mine started dating, and I don't like her new boyfriend much, but I can't be brutally honest. So if she asks me if I find him cool, I could say, in fact, I think he's a bit strange. So I could say, ele é pouco esquisitinho. Yes, ele é pouco esquisitinho. Or, ele é pouquinho esquisito. Ele é pouquinho esquisito. If I find him a bit boring, I won't say ele é chato. Ele é chatinho. Ele é chatinho. Well, you can also use the diminutive for emphasis, as in, a minute, please. Minutinho, por favor. Minutinho, por favor. Yes, and not more than that. Minutinho, por favor. I live a few blocks from here, not far at all, so to emphasize that, I could say, moro pertinho daqui. Moro pertinho daqui. Are you asking me if I would stop teaching Portuguese? I will never do that. Never. Nunca. Let's emphasize this. Nunquinha. No. Nunquinha. Another use of the diminutive is for irony or sarcasm. I told you before that I live near here. Yes, eu moro pertinho daqui. It's a 5-minute drive. You live 2 hours far from here and you're telling me that you live nearby? Você mora pertinho. Você mora pertinho. Oh, que cachorro calminho. Yes, super calmo. Que cachorro calminho. Finally, because the diminutive sounds cute, but informal. Yes, as in, oh, my love. Meu amorzinho. Meu amorzinho. Can you give me a hand? Pode me dar uma mão? But let's make it cuter. Pode me dar uma mãozinha? Pode me dar uma mãozinha? But Portuguese wouldn't be Portuguese if it didn't have exceptions to the rules, or even accepted 2 or 3 different diminutive forms to the same word. For example, abelha can be abelhinha, abelhazinha, abelhita. Where would the fun be without all of these exceptions? Well, you just learned that to make the diminutive of words ending in R, you should add zinho or zinha to them. There is a word, though, that has challenged this rule. Devagar, which colloquially can also be pronounced as devagar. Devagar, devagar. Okay, so you can say devagarzinho or devagarinho. Devagarzinho, devagarinho. For example, you speak slowly, but you want to make it cuter. Você fala devagarzinho. Você fala devagarinho. You want a friend to drive a little slowly, a little more slowly, yeah? So, dirija devagarzinho. Dirija devagarinho. By the way, there is a famous samba by Martinho da Vila that goes like this. É devagar, é devagar, é devagar, é devagar, devagarinho, é devagar. Yes, have you heard this before? So, take a look at it later. Oh, by the way, not every word that ends in inho or inha is in the diminutive form. Yes? Want to see a few examples? Caminho, sobrinho, sobrinha, vizinho, vizinha. They are not in the diminutive form. Golfinho, cozinha, joaninha, sardinha, galinha. Do you know any other words that end in inho, inha, or zinho, zinha, but are not in the diminutive forms? Tell me in the comments below. Well, thank you for watching another lesson. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Don't forget to ask me questions or leave me comments in the comment section below. I love to read them and you know that. See you next time. Até a próxima. Tchauzinho.